EC 39, this is status report FY16, goal 3, objective 4, the Edith transfer station. I move a withdraw by the administration. Motion and a second for withdraw. Anybody signed up to speak on this? Okay, we do have Mr. David Wood signed up to speak on it.
Good evening, President Lewis and members of the council. My name is David Wood, and I'm president of the Greater Gardner Neighborhood Association and vice president of the North Valley Coalition. In item 13A, the administration is withdrawing its status report on the Edith transfer station. The Albuquerque Journal reported on April 11th that the city will still pursue the project under the zoning already in place. Greater Gardner Neighborhood Association does not believe the zoning allows the transfer station. I will not discuss the substance of our disagreement with the city's interpretation, but my concern is that the administration will not agree to let us know when a building permit is issued so we can appeal. We need notice because an appeal must be filed within 15 days. I asked planning to let us know if the city was issued a building permit so we could appeal. Planning said there was no procedure to give us notice. Our attorney advises us in the past when the dispute was between a private developer and a neighborhood, planning did agree to keep the neighborhood advised. Apparently, administration applies a different rule when the neighborhood's dispute is with the city instead of a private developer. Our attorney then asked the administration to give us notice, since the administration would certainly know when they requested a permit from planning. But the administration did not respond to the original email or a second request, and there were also several like requests by private citizens. So it appears the city wants to get the permit without notice, even though they are aware we disagree with their interpretation of the zoning code and that we want to appeal.
All right, thank you, sir. Councilor Benton.
Let me get a summary from you, David. So all you're really asking is for notification of when the city files for a building permit.
President Lewis, Councilor Benton, that is correct.
Thank you. And can the administration speak to that? Is there, given the fact that I think Mr. Wood's correct that just as a courtesy, it's not because we have some requirement to do so to give notice of building permits, but on situations where we already know there's difference of opinion about a project and so forth, that wouldn't we just go ahead and notify the neighborhood association of a building permit application by the city in this case?
Mr. President and Councilor Benton, under normal circumstances with neighborhood associations, we're always giving all that notification, and then through our planning department for any building permit there is certain notification you have to go through. This issue is different. What Mr. Wood's not saying is he's in an active lawsuit against us, so information becomes a little more difficult to give out when you're in the middle of a lawsuit. The city went through months of open discussions with the neighborhood associations in the area, and then and I believe there was a free transfer of information going back and forth. Since the lawsuits occurred, our hands are tied a little bit, but with any building construction, we're going to go through the normal procedure of any building permits required. We have to go through a full NMED, New Mexico Environmental Department process with public notification and public hearings as part of that process as well. So as part of our normal business, we will be able to provide public information, but it's going to be public information. It's not going to be that which is allowed to harm us in a lawsuit.
And Mr. Reardon, and Mr. Chair, this is still public information when the city applies for a building permit?
Mr. President, Councilor Benton, yes, it is.
So they might have to go every week and ask, has a building permit been applied for? And then we would have to answer the question in any way, right?
Mr. President and Councilor Benton, I believe there's notifications that we have to post on our site that's available for view of the public when a building permit is called. So we would be doing that through our planning department. I'd have to ask Susie Lubar, planning director, of all the official notifications we go through. But again, I've never built a public project without the public knowing very well what was going to be occurring as that project. So there will be a significant amount of public information to the lawsuit group. There won't be any additional on top of the.
Understood, and I certainly wouldn't expect or advocate for you to do anything but that. But it just seems that in a situation where the basic information, which is going to be available to anyone in the public, that in this situation, just that they might as well just be notified.
Mr. President,
given that there's and I'm not familiar with the details. I know that's the suit on the previous case before EPC and so forth. But there's a constituency out there that doesn't include the people who are appealing.
Understood. We are continuing to update our website. There will be no chance that we're going to start construction on a $40 to $50 million facility at the existing solid waste transfer station without that website being notified, us notifying the news stations, us notifying all the adjacent neighborhoods through the appropriate channels of the city. But again, we're just not going to go through the lawsuit avenue for that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Reardon. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, President Lewis. Councilor.